Well, hello, my name is Ray. I'm the Next Gen Executive Pastor here at Bloom Church.
And I am Antoinette, and I'm the Bloom Youth Pastor, as well as the Director at Sprouts Learning Center.
It's awesome. And thank you for joining us for our masterclass on parenting. This is actually a follow-up to an amazing sermon series that our pastor, Mike Carlton, and our executive pastor, Tyler Long, have done here at the church. Just phenomenal. So you can go check that out on our website or on our YouTube channel to subscribe and get a little bit more information on all of those amazing sermons that they did. Well, today our masterclass is on the topic of emotions.
Yes.
Emotions are something that we all experience them.
Yep.
We all have them.
Yes,
Had them.
Yeah, I experienced it this morning, letting my daughter go back to college. So yeah.
Yes, that's definitely some high emotions,
yeah.
some sad emotions, some control, loss of control.
Lots of control.
I experience emotions. Got a 4 and a 5-year-old trying to get ready for school in the morning. We all know what that's like as parents. So definitely some emotions that are going on.
Absolutely.
But before we go any further in this masterclass, we have to recognize the fact that emotions are normal.
Yeah.
Right? Emotions are okay. Between adults, as being parents, emotions are fine, as well as our children having emotions is something that's totally okay.
Right.
And I like to picture in this way. I can imagine if you as an adult have emotions and you had a tough day at work and it's just so many things, maybe you got fired or whatever it is, there's just emotions are running high.
Right.
And you come home and you're completely ignored. Your spouse ignores you, or there's no one there to comfort you through these emotions. How would you feel? Someone just said, "Oh, don't worry about that," or "Forget it," or
Right.
"Oh, shh, be quiet." Right? Like, well, now let's take the look at our children, and our children are learning how to navigate emotions because no one's been there to teach them yet.
Right.
And a lot of times as adults, we might shove their emotions to the side. We might say, "Oh, shh, be quiet," or "Stop being so this," but they're going through their own emotions, and us as parents, we have the responsibility to teach them how to navigate those emotions.
Yeah. I think sometimes too, as parents, we use the word, "You're going to be okay."
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you're fine, you're okay. And so we're not allowing the children to use their words. So like I know at Sprouts, we always tell the kids, use your words. Like tell me how you feel, because we want the kids to know that their words matter.
Definitely.
Yeah. So no matter what the emotion is, and then, if it is an emotion that may come off as, whether it's anger or something, that we're going to help them walk through on how to deal with that emotion.
That's good. Yeah. And so it's so important to, as parents, we have that responsibility on teaching them how to walk through, how to use the words, what is the structure that we can give them to help them through this emotion that they've first time experiencing it. Or even if they're a teenager, like even still, it's new and they've got different hormones that are rushing through their bodies with those emotions. And that brings them to this point of, as adults and us being parents, we still struggle with emotions. We still struggle with them. And for us to expect our children to be able to navigate those without us teaching them is rough. Can you imagine what it's like when you meet a child's emotional level with that same level?
Right.
And so what is it? How do you teach your staff on how to navigate that?
Yeah, so we talk about, we want to model the volume of their voice.
Yeah.
So if a kid's screaming or upset, we want our volume. So we stay neutral. Yeah. And so we want the kid, and sometimes we even say, "Hey, I want you to match my volume. I want you to match my voice." And so if they're screaming, I'm saying, "No, match my volume. Yeah, match it." And so it kind of helps to bring it down. One of the things is that we have to realize is that if a kid is angry or upset or very emotional, whatever their IQ is. So if they're at an IQ of 80, they drop 30% when they're upset. Okay. So imagine we're at an 80, so now we're at a 50.
Okay, drop those 30 points down.
Right. Yeah, we're now trying to tell these children, "Hey, I need you to process what's going on." They can't process.
No way.
So they have to have a chance to de-escalate.
You bet.
And so whether that's telling them to stop and breathe with them. So breathing not only helps the child, but it also helps
you
me.
as the parent, right?
Yeah. So then it allows them to de-escalate. It gets their IQ kind of back. So then we can have those conversations.
Yeah. And I love that too, because it all comes to how our brains are made, right? And our bodies process, and our bodies are pumping these different hormones and chemicals as we get into these emotional states. And a lot of the times, parents, we've got a lot going on. Or I definitely see that. I mean, we both have had kids. We have kids. And so we know the busy life that we all live as parents. And so it's like, oh, we just got get rid of that emotion and let's move on.
Yeah.
And sometimes we even begin to rush through that process. I've rushed through it before too. We expect them to be able to count to 10 and be done.
Right.
And it's like, all right, count to 10, take your breaths. I'm okay now, maybe as an adult, but now the kids are still struggling to get back down because their bodies are pumped with all of those hormones and chemicals are still rushing through their body. And so for them to be able to 10 seconds to be back at normal level, it's unrealistic for them.
Right.
And so that's where sometimes you have to give them a little bit extra time.
Yeah.
My children, I have toddlers right now. I'm definitely in that very high state of emotions or running all the time, especially in the morning as we get ready for bed or get ready to go to school or at nighttime for bed. There's a lot of emotions. And I have to make sure that one, I take my own time so I don't get up and start meeting them at that same level, as well as, sometimes this could be a good trick. I'll whisper something. So you talked about matching that tone or matching that level. I'll whisper something to my child, and now they have to bring themselves down to be able to hear it. So that's just another technique maybe that could help out.
Yeah, matching the level of the voice. Yeah, I like that.
Well, the last point I have here really on our emotions in this masterclass come with how do we best model the emotions for our children.
Right.
And so we can tell our kids how to process their emotions or teach them as best as we can, and that will help to some degree. But if we're not modeling it in our own lives and how we process emotions in front of them with our spouses or with other relationships, it's not going to stick with our kids if we're not modeling it ourselves. And so really just comes down to we have to make sure that we are a good example for our kids with our emotions and that we're being healthy in our own. And that means that sometimes with toddlers or even teenagers, we might have to take a second away from the emotional state that we're having with our kids.
Absolutely.
And we might have to, and communication first, we have to let them know like, hey, I'm getting a little frustrated right now. I think I might need to take a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes away. And then we can keep this conversation going or we can process these emotions. So just being healthy, right? With how we model our own emotions.
Yeah.
So. Well, that's it for this masterclass on emotions. Make sure you check out all the other masterclasses we have for parentings as we dive into some other really hot topics for parenting.
Yeah.